Hi guys, welcome to another Train Me Please video, and today we are going to be talking about the top 5 skills that will make you a better animal trainer. 1. Learn about ethical and humane animal training methodologies. When you start your animal training career, it might be difficult to tell right from wrong or humane from inhumane animal training options. I would suggest that instead of focusing on what the learner does incorrectly, you should focus instead on arranging the environment in a way that the learner can succeed in the first place, and focus also on the things that the learner does correctly. Some terms that might be worth having a look at would be positive reinforcement-based training, force-free training, least invasive, minimally aversive approach, and the most positive, least intrusive approach to animal training. When considering how to change the behavior of our learners, a great resource is the Hierarchy of Behavior Change Procedures, shared with us by the brilliant Dr. Susan Friedman. This approach tells us which things we should be checking first when we are considering a behavior modification program for our learner. As you can see, we should start by checking wellness and antecedent arrangement aspects, and we can then proceed to use positive reinforcement. These first options offer the animal the maximum amount of control and choice over the situation. They are also very low risk in terms of unwanted side effects and in terms of the potential to damaging the relationship with you. In order to be effective, science-based, humane teachers, we want to stay within these first few right turn options as much as possible. If we keep going up that road, we will start to hit some speed bumps, and eventually we will hit a yellow and a red signal. The further up the road we go in terms of what we choose to change the behavior of our learner, the more likely we are to damage the relationship or to get unwanted side effects. 2. Never stop learning. Learning new ideas and concepts is super important for your evolution as an animal trainer. My favorite way of learning is by reading books. Nowadays, there are so many fantastic animal training books. Another great way of learning is to attend seminars, workshops, and conferences where animal training specialists will share their latest findings and their latest recommendations in the world of animal behavior modification. You might also want to consider having conversations directed at animal training with your peers and your colleagues. 3. Record training sessions and review them. Nowadays, it's so easy to just grab your smartphone and record a training session. I then recommend that you put it on your laptop, or you can even use your smartphone, and you have a good look at the footage that you grabbed during your training session. If you need to, slow it down. Watch it in slow motion so that you can pinpoint what was happening at each moment within that training session. Then, make notes. Review that training session with critical eyes and see where you can improve. Was the animal really doing exactly what you wanted when you pressed that clicker? These are things that you should be having a look when you review your training sessions. 4. Use and analyze ABCs: antecedent, behavior, consequence. Within operant behavior, the ABC is the smallest unit of analysis that we can use when we are trying to modify behavior, which makes it a very popular tool that modern science-based animal trainers are using. Going back to the amazing work of Dr. Susan Friedman, I'm going to share a couple of pictures with you. The first one is what I call the Unlabel Me chart. According to this chart, whenever we have behavior that we are somehow not pleased with, we tend to label it. We tend to put labels or psychological constructs on it, such as intelligence, dominance, motivation, aggression, anxiety, or OCD. However, these are concepts, not behaviors. So let's stop using those when we are trying to modify animal behavior. Let's instead look at this chart that I decided to call ABC Me. When we go back to this simplest unit of analysis, we should start by describing the behavior in observable terms. We then proceed to describe its antecedents, and then we describe the consequences. The following step is to examine the antecedents, the behavior, and the consequences in a sequence. We then devise new antecedents and/or consequences. Note that of the 3 elements that we have here, 2 of them are environmental and we can control them: the antecedent and the consequence. The behavior is the only element that we can't really control. But having power over 2/3 of the elements involved here is a pretty good deal in my opinion. The final step is to evaluate the outcome of devising new antecedents and/or consequences. And I give a thumbs up to this approach. 5. Be ready to change and adapt previously held views. In such an interconnected world, you will eventually see people doing things slightly different than you. You will then have to make a decision on whether to trial the new approach that you have seen or whether to ignore it and stick to the one you are using at the moment. This is sometimes a difficult process, especially if you have had success with the current approach you are using. My default thought in such circumstances is to go back to my animal training references, the people that I know that they know way more about animal training than I do, and ask myself the question, what would they do in this situation? Believe it or not, a lot of the times I try to contact them directly. I might send them an email or do a Skype call with them and clarify the new information that I received. Generally speaking, if my animal training references suggest something that is slightly different than what I do at the moment, my default option is to trial that approach, to give it a go and see where that takes me. Modern animal training practices are a fast evolving field, and it is totally normal to change your approach, your techniques over time. Change is not always an easy process, and sometimes it might even get you to take a step back before being able to move forward. And those are the top 5 skills that will make you a better animal trainer. Like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and share the video with your friends. Any of those things would really help this channel a lot. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.